Hello, everyone. Nice to have Anna here with me. Hello, Anna.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
So I'm Regina Fulop from Yourway Education, and today we are going to talk about the Dutch high school program, presented by Anna Meijers from our partner organization, which is Travel Active. So welcome, Anna, again. And I give you the floor now.
Okay, wonderful.
To present the program.
Okay. Well, first I want to welcome you to Amsterdam. This is where we are now, in our new office, but it's actually a very old building. It used to be an old wine guild house. It's dates back to 1555. Well, I'm not going to show you around, but a few features and beautiful old windows. And this is where I get to work every day. And this
Good
is also,
for you.
Yeah, this is also
Good for you.
10 minutes by bike, which is very a Dutch thing, going to work by bike. And for me, it's 10 minutes. It's right in the center of Amsterdam. So I feel very privileged to be able to work here. Your students who will be coming to the Netherlands, hopefully in August, they can also, they will definitely be invited to visit us at our office, and we do our informational meetings here. We do some orientation, parts of the orientation also in this very building. It's 600 square meters, so there's a lot of students that we can house here. Yeah. Okay, I will share my screen with you so we can talk through the program. I have a few buttons to click, but that should be fast, and you can see our presentation now. I already know that in this picture there are a few students from Spain and also from Portugal and from Brazil also in this very picture. It was taken in the town of Soest. That's where we do our orientations, half an hour from Amsterdam, and this was actually quite a large group. But these kids, I know them all, not all by name, but I know their stories. Some of them I do not know. That's because they just had a wonderful program. They never were in contact with me, but I always know the students that for some reason stood out, or maybe there was an issue with them that is also happening. Yeah, it's always good to see them. Well, I mean, if you are from Spain, then you will probably know that this is the Netherlands. It's a very small country, but it's a great place, we also say. And it's right there on the map. But to give you a basic idea of our country, a few pictures to show you around. We are very proud of our port, the port of Rotterdam. It used to be the largest port in the world, but it's not anymore. I'm not even sure which one it is now. It could be Antwerp or even Hong Kong. But it's a wonderful place. This is Amsterdam. So you see concentric circles of Amsterdam center, the famous canals, and we are somewhere right in the middle. And where I live, I said 10 minutes by bike. It's on the river. It's on the IJ River to the west. So joyful bike ride every day to get to work. Well, this is also how you know the Netherlands, probably. Our flower bulbs, the tulips, the famous Dutch tulips, that originally came from Turkey, so you know. And then there is the national parks we have in the Netherlands. So we're a very densely populated country. It's a very small country, but we still have 18 million people living there. And there's still plenty of room for nature. So there's a lot of wildlife also here in, for example, National Park the Hoge Veluwe. And then there is the famous Delta works, the Delta plan. 25% of our country is below sea level, but you don't have to worry about anything because we keep the water out with these with this Delta works, mainly in the south, in the province of Zeeland. And then there's our royal family. Our queen, Maxima, she's from Argentina, so she speaks Spanish. So do her children. And our king, Willem Alexander. They do not actually live in this palace. This is just one of them. And they live at Huis ten Bosch, which is in the city of The Hague. And this one is an Apeldoorn, and it can be visited. It's a museum, which brings me to the museum card. All our students receive a free museum card with which they can visit any museum in the Netherlands for free during the entire year. So that's one of the perks of the program, and it's very well used. So I always thought that kids, especially when you're 15, 16, you do not want to go to a museum, but they do, all of them, often, and they love it. This is a picture of one of the Waddenzee Islands, so off the coast in the north, and it's a great place to visit. Lots of nature, very quiet, lots of wildlife, seals, and bird life. So yeah, plenty of also time to visit there during school holidays. Well, the meadows, we're a very organized country, as you can see. Everything is thought about. And then in the south, the hills of Limburg, where it gets a little more hilly, because the rest of the country is just flat. You can see for miles. Okay, well, that is the surrounding you will be in. Great place to use your bike. Every student receives a bike with the program, so we make sure that you have your own bike while you are here to go to school. And then talking about the school, the Dutch education system, we only know public high schools. We only work with public high schools because there are no private high schools. There are a few. They are international schools, but they only cater to children of expats, for example, and all the classes there are taught in English. When you go to the Dutch high school, you will learn to speak Dutch. And when you think you can't do it, well, you can, because I know that after 2 or 3 months, you'll be perfectly able to understand what your teachers are saying to you in Dutch, and you will be able to speak basic Dutch because we help you with that. We'll talk about that a little later on. But don't worry about learning a new language. It is possible, and we give you the tools to do so. All classes are taught in Dutch, except in the bilingual program. So there are a number of schools, about 20%, where classes are taught for 50% in Dutch and 50% in English. So that will give you the opportunity to improve your English skills next to learning a new language. But it's only up until the 9th grade. That is important to know. So if you're 15, then it is possible to have 50% of your classes in English. When you have to be enrolled in the 10th grade, 11th grade, so when you're 16, 17, 18, then it's only 25% of the classes that are taught in English and 75% in Dutch. So when you're young, 14, 15, and you want to choose a bilingual program, so you will be placed in 9th grade, then you're absolutely welcome to do so. When you're enrolled in 10th grade, 11th grade, we will never place you in 12th grade. That is the exam year, so the final year. In 10th or 11th, and we can still make sure that you can validate your school results here. That means that you have to pass your classes, and that means some extra pressure on learning the new language, but it is possible to validate your school results in the Netherlands so you do not miss your year. I always say it's a cultural exchange program. It is not a study program, which means that as you approach it as a cultural exchange, you have not too much pressure on your school results. You still have to work hard, but it also gives you the time to undertake all kinds of activities with your host families, explore the country, make friends, do your sports. It should be a good combination. In the Dutch education system, in the public high schools, students do not wear uniforms. That is easy. And so you can pick your own clothes to go to school, and you go to school by bike, most of you. If the distance is a bit longer, a bit further out, with 10 to 15 kilometers, maybe even. And you can still use your bike, but you can also take public transportation, which is ample. And even in the picture here, you see lots of bikes at the school yard, and that's what you see at every school. Host families, well, it's important. And when I look at these pictures, I see in the right on the left-hand corner, Berend. Berend is the son of the Rowe family. They have hosted over 40 students. They are on their 44th student right now. You see some other host families. Most of the time, they consist of a father, mother, and a few kids, whether the same age or younger. But it could be anything. So any host family with a warm heart, very hospitable. They could be a suiting host family. So it can be a single host father with no children. It could be a mother divorced with children living at home. It could be a married couple. It could be a same-sex couple. We do have a few very successful same-sex couples also hosting our students. It is not for the student or for you as a family, natural family, to pick what kind of family you want for your child. That is really up to the program to look for families that are thoroughly screened. We do criminal background check. We do in-person host family interviews. And after all the checks and balances have been finalized, then we decide that this family is suitable to host one of your children. So we're very, very scrutinous when it comes to checking our families. The good thing is that we do not pay them. They are voluntary host families, so they are intrinsically interested in hosting your child and making sure that they are safe and making sure that they have the best time of their life. They do expect something in return, not in money, but in your child being a very good student, a good exchange student. So giving back in, sharing his culture, sharing his heritage, maybe cooking a Spanish or Portuguese meal, could be anything, or helping the host mother learn to speak Spanish, could be anything. But that is what the cultural exchange is all about. And these families are not in it for the money. It even costs them money. They are intrinsically motivated to host. And the students are invited to become really part of the family. It is not a paid homestay. No, they share their home, but they also share their heart, and that is very important. You want the best care for your child, and that is what we make sure to be able to provide. Host families, and of course there is support while on exchange in the Netherlands. We have a network of about 60 local coordinators spread all over the country, and they visit the student every single month. They write their progress report. Every 2 months they visit the student at the host family's home, and every other month they do that at school to also monitor the progress of your child at school. And monthly progress report will be sent to our partner and on to you. So that way you can also have an objective image of the progress of your child on the program. The local coordinators also organize local student events to make them aware of their surroundings. Maybe they do that with other exchange students, but maybe also with the host families in the vicinity. Then there's our Amsterdam office. We will invite them here, but we also organize national student events from our office, and that could be anywhere in the country, and that will be 1 full day per semester. The one in June will be in combination with a host family day, where we invite all host families that are hosting at that very time to come to one central location, and we have one big event, showing up appreciation for our voluntary host families. So with great food, great activities, and lots of time for the host families to share their experience. and for the students to maybe see each other for the last time before they travel back to the Netherlands. 24/7 support, yes, we do have an emergency hotline. That means that students, host families, you can always reach us even in the middle of the night. Please call 112 first if there's a real emergency, but we can be reached at all times of the day, if necessary, of course. And it's not always an emergency. Yeah. It's important for us to prepare the students before they go on program. That is taken care of by Yourway by means of a pre-departure orientation. You organize a pre-departure orientation, but we do a post-arrival orientation, which is 3 out of those 6 days that you see. In a weekend, either 1 week or 3 weeks, up to 3 weeks after the students have arrived in the Netherlands. Post-arrival orientation, where we further prepare them for their stay in the Netherlands, but where we also, they make acquaintance with the other students that are in the country. They make friends for life there, as I know. There's a sightseeing in Amsterdam involved, an introductory bicycle tour to a city of our choice, depending on where we do the orientation. It's where we also teach kids how to ride the bicycle safely in the Netherlands. Very important. Dutch classes are also could be part of the program. We now started using the first steps to Dutch language learning program, which is separate from the orientation and which already starts before they come to the Netherlands. We do workshops, cultural diversity. Yeah, maybe you have a question? No. We do workshops during the orientations. We do a film night. There's all kinds of sports activities, and there's an end of the week party before the kids go to their host families again. And as I said, the Dutch language training, we start for the students arriving in August, we will organize a 10-week language program, which starts at the end of June. It's an online program where they practice their Dutch skills 10 to 15 minutes a day only, 10 to 15 minutes a day, but on a daily basis. And they start the course together with all the other students coming to the Netherlands. And they will be invited for webinars every 2 weeks. And during those webinars, they will meet the other children coming to the Netherlands, and they practice their Dutch skills during those webinars. We make sure, and we owe that to the schools, that the students speak Dutch and, well, have the Dutch language skills at least on A1 level at the time they come to the Netherlands, or at least a month into the program. We do not want the teachers at the schools to put all kinds of extra time and extra efforts into translating assignments or tests for the students when we can prepare them to use Dutch in class at the start of the program. So we owe that to the schools, that the exchange students do not cost all kinds of extra work for the teachers, because that is what they do not like. They're busy as it is. So the students from Spain, from Portugal, from Brazil, they're very welcome, but they should not take too much extra time from the teachers when it can be prevented by learning Dutch early in the program. And it can be done. Often mothers think that their child has to be helped by providing English, for example, but it's not necessary. When you focus on Dutch, the tools are there and it can be done. So why should your child come to the Netherlands? It is a very specific country. It is a very safe country. It is small enough for them to travel all over the country. The train ticket here in the Netherlands for a full day costs €8, so they can go from all the way up north, all the way down south in a day and pay only €8 for a train ticket, and they're really good. Well, We have our own language. It's a peculiar language with very peculiar sounds. The strong R and the H, but it's a beautiful language. We do all speak English. The Dutch are the most proficient when it comes to English, so it's even considered a native language here in the Netherlands. It is considered a native language here in the Netherlands, although Dutch is really the language that we use. I think we are very open and friendly people. We are tolerant people, so open-minded. We're very welcoming. Some provinces have the name that they're quite stubborn, but once you are into the hearts of the families, they are the most wonderful people. We can be quite direct in our communication, which can come across as quite bold, but we want to be clear. We don't want to beat around the bush. We just want to say what we have to say, and then we can move on. People from other countries, students have to get used to that. They are getting used to that, and then they think it's a wonderful way of communicating because we can just discuss what it is actually about. Public transportation in the Netherlands is wonderful, as I said, by train, but also by bus, by local bus to go to school. And as schools are always in the vicinity of about 15 kilometers, so students can choose to use their bike or take a local bus. The expense for a local bus will be at the student's expense. We make sure that all students are provided with a bike. It is very necessary to get across in the Netherlands. If you want to go and play soccer at night at your local sports club or the swimming club or whatever you do, sports is not so much related to the school, but in separate clubs. It's a culture in the Netherlands, and you use your bike as well. Gives the students very much freedom, and makes them very independent. Especially when you're from Brazil, where cities are could be in mountainous areas or are less safe. It's very hard to get around, and you have to be taken everywhere. In the Netherlands, we just give you a bike, and we trust that you're safe. As long as you have good light on your bike, we will make sure that you do. Good. Included in the program, the screening of the host families, of course. We recruit the host families. About 60% of our families have hosted before. That's good to know. They are repeat host families, but also the new host families, they are carefully screened and also prepared by our local coordinators, by us. We make sure that students are enrolled at schools. We do not have to pay tuition to the schools, because if you're a student from Europe or the student has a visa cultural exchange and therefore a staying permit in the Netherlands, the school costs are provided for by the Dutch government. So, the Dutch government really promotes cultural exchange, and it really adds to the school culture to have international students in the schools. Support during the program, ongoing support by our team here in beautiful Amsterdam, and of course by our local coordinators. As I said, the Dutch online course, the bike, we'll give you t-shirts, it's hoodies nowadays, and the orientation program. When you add up all the events that we organize for our students, then it's quite a number. So students, the exchange students have lots of opportunities to meet other students, and they see each other a lot. Talked about the museum card. And what we do more and more is make sure that students are also actively involved in the local community and doing some kind of community service. It is it's a social service, which our students in Dutch high schools are promoted to do anyway. So, very sociable program. This is what my presentation is.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna, so much. I wanted to ask you, can you tell me how is a day at school, for example? So when do they start? How many classes they have? Is there any afternoon, like for example in Spain we have a lot of extracurricular activities within the school. So how would a day look like, maybe?
Well, our schools mainly focus on education, so we do not have many extracurricular activities in the schools. But I just had told you about the sports, the club structure that we have in the Netherlands. So there's a football club, there's a hockey club, a swimming club, whatever, or chess, or also arts and crafts related. So there's all kinds of activities that students can choose, also in smaller local communities, where they go at night. So they might start school in the morning at 9, maybe even earlier. The school could choose to have like lessons of 1 hour, but some schools even have 40 minutes and then double the class. There's some lessons that they skip, so you have an in-between hour where you can do your homework, and every day could be different. So it's not as if you have one classroom where the teacher comes to the classroom. It is you that goes to the classroom of the specific teacher of the specific lesson that you're following at that time. And one day you could be finished at 2 o'clock. The other day you could be finished at 4 o'clock. It could be anything. And it also depends on the profile that you choose. So in the Dutch high school system, from the 10th grade up, you choose a profile. It could be economics and society. It could be nature and technique. So depending on your interests and on your talents, and that decides.
That's what you learn then.
Yeah. So there's a lot of choices that the students can make when it comes to the classes that they want to attend. Yeah.
And then they have lunch, for example, at school, or?
Yeah. Well, I know that that lunch, that meals are very important in the Latin countries, Spanish countries, and that you eat late. Well, kids here have to get used to the fact that that bread is a major part of our meals. So you can have sandwiches in the morning, sandwiches for lunch, and if you're unlucky, then you have more bread at night. And some of the host families have dinner at 5:30. Yes, you heard that correctly. It is 5:30. And maybe
it's not 8 or 9 in the evening.
Not 9 or 10 as in Spanish countries. So make sure that you're not hungry at night. Yeah, but it's not hot lunches. So most of the kids in Dutch high schools bring their packed lunch to school. So yeah, maybe you really have to get used to that. What you eat for lunch, but bread is a big part of the Dutch meals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Spain too, so I don't think that's a problem.
Not if you're from Brazil and you want to eat rice and beans. That's not on our menu. No.
Yeah. Okay, and then as you said, if students are interested in any clubs, then they can do it on their own expense. And then
of course. Yeah, they have to pay for it themselves. If you want to become a member of a local football club, the costs are very limited, and you can train as often as you want. You have your matches on the weekends. We do have a separate sports program now that we also want to promote. So if you're really good at field hockey, for example, and you want to play field hockey at your own level here in the Netherlands, then we can make sure that you are enrolled in a local or regional sports club where you can play your own sports at your own level. So that is what we are actively promoting. Yeah.
And what about the weekends? Is it do the families they are like together as a family? I imagine.
Of course, they have their own agenda and they have their own activities and interests. And it would be wonderful if the exchange student really becomes part of that family and become part of the family activities. It's always good to have a good balance between your own activities, the things that you want to do, want to visit on the weekends. Do you want to do them with the friends that you've made at the orientations, or will you do that with the host family? So make sure that there's a good balance and that not all the focus goes to your international friends, maybe your Spanish friends, that you've met on your orientations. But really include your host family in your plans and discuss it with them, what you want to do that weekend or what you want to do during that school holiday, and make sure that because they also are interested in showing you their surroundings and showing you their country. The Dutch are also very proud of their country, and they'll be happy to share that with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And finally, what about the school holidays? How is it? How many holidays do you have, or how the students go back to Spain and Portugal during the holidays, or how is it?
No, we are very strict at that. So if you are a year student, you will not visit your home country during that school year. And it sounds very strict, but it's also important when you're on a cultural exchange that you celebrate the holidays, for example, Christmas, with your host family in the Dutch tradition, in the Dutch culture. What we do allow is your family, so for example, your parents, to come and visit you once during your exchange, towards the end of the exchange, but if it needs to be somewhere in the middle, we can work with that. But Spanish students are not allowed to visit home during the exchange. That's a very important rule, and we do not allow any exceptions or anything. And we do know that Italian nonas, Spanish grandmothers or Spanish mothers want their children home for Christmas, but we're not going to allow that because it's such an important part of a cultural exchange to be in that country for the entire period. But you are allowed to have friends, family over to visit on 1-2 occasions.
Yes, and I think it's a key aspect. If you really want to know a culture of a country, then I think the holiday season is the best way to get to know.
Yeah. And we also know that it's very disruptive when students do fly home for the holidays. There is a period before and a period after, and that also goes for a family, parents visiting the student at the host family during the exchange. It can be quite disruptive. It will impact the sensitivity for homesickness, for example. So I would decide beforehand if you can live without your family for the time that you are here, and you can.
Mm-hmm. And then the holidays is probably the same as here. So you have an autumn.
Yeah, autumn break. That's 1 week.
Christmas.
That's for Christmas. It's 2 weeks, and then in spring it's 1 week. With Easter, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then summer holiday. And the program can be started either at the end of August, so at the beginning of our school year. But we also have about 20 students starting the program actually this week, and they stay for either a semester or for their school year. So when you're from Argentina, for example, and your school year starts in January, February, then you can start. You can do your entire school year here in the Netherlands, but it would be the last semester of the Dutch program, the Dutch curriculum, and then you move up to the next school year from August probably till November.
So the school year is from August to
July.
End of July. July.
Early September, really. Early September to beginning of July, so 10 months.
Yeah. And then I think it's important to mention as well that it's you offer not only 1-year programs, but as you said, you also offer shorter programs.
Yeah, shorter programs is a semester. So if you start the semester in early September, then most students return home at Christmas, so just before Christmas. That is a possibility, or half with January. They're both options. But you can also start your program in January and then go all the way to July. So that's a semester program. And we do offer a 3-month program. So if you only want to go on exchange in the Netherlands for 3 months, that is also a possibility.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Anna, for all this information.
Thank you.
You're always so thorough with the information. I so much like it.
Okay.
And well, let's hope we can send your way a couple of students next year.
Well,
I know that we have some people in the pipeline.
that's good. I'm not going to mention the names, but we had two wonderful boys with us this curriculum or this semester, and had some wonderful students through Yourway. So more than welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Well, I say goodbye now, and we keep in touch. Bye. Bye.